Okay, Frisco, Texas, you've seen the headlines. Fastest growing, safest, one of the most desirable suburban cities in the entire country. But here's what almost no one is showing you on YouTube: how Frisco actually lays out on a map, how close you really are to Dallas, Fort Worth, the airports, the lakes, PGA, Universal Studios, the Fields West, and which neighborhoods are actually worth your money if you're thinking about moving here. So in this video, I'm gonna take you on a full live map tour of Frisco. We're going to start zoomed out over the entire Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, then zoom all the way in, and I'm gonna show you the PGA campus, the Fields development, Universal Kids Resort, Fields West, and some of the top master planned communities that I love, that I think you'll love, and the real pockets of Frisco that I believe have the best long-term upside. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to show you exactly where I'd buy right now at 3 different price points, and a couple of areas I personally might avoid if you care about lifestyle and that long-term equity. So grab your coffee, pull up the map with me, and let's go. Okay, let's start with the big picture. Right now, you are looking at Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, and you can see where Fort Worth sits compared to Dallas. And then I'm gonna zoom in a little, and you guys are gonna see north of Dallas, the red outlined city is Frisco. And I'm gonna keep us zoomed out because I wanna show you a couple of things in the area. Okay, so this is the Dallas North Tollway coming down right through here. And so if you were to drive from Frisco to Dallas, non-traffic, you're looking at about a 30-minute drive. Now in rush hour, I would say, gosh, from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then 4:30 p.m. to probably 7 p.m. You're looking at 45 minutes without any wrecks. So it can get a little bit crazier when it comes to rush hour, but if I leave Frisco by 4:30, I can make it to Dallas in 30 minutes. It's just after kind of that 4:30 in the afternoon rush hour that slows it all down. Okay, there's also another highway, this highway here. This is 121. It's a toll as well, and it's called Sam Rayburn Highway as well. We have multiple names for all of our highways, so just be prepared. I'm going to call them by their, this one's going to be called by the number 121 because that's typically what everybody calls it. So this kind of gets you, it's not completely east and west, but it goes across McKinney and Frisco all the way from the mid-cities, which are down here. All this is considered the mid-cities. And the reason they're considered the mid-cities is because they're really in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. So that's where I grew up. And then you can get on 121 essentially and go all the way over to North Dallas. And somebody said the other day on one of the comments that what we're calling North Dallas is not really North Dallas. And that's actually true. So let me clear that up. Do you guys see this little thing right here that says North Dallas? North Dallas has always been known. 635 is kind of this highway that, and it goes all the way around Dallas in some form or fashion. And this has always been considered North Dallas, this whole area right here. But it's just easier to say North Dallas for me to tell you guys about what's north of Dallas than for me to say far north Dallas all the time. And so for everybody that lives in Dallas, we know that far north Dallas is not North Dallas. It's just easier to say. So bear with us. Anyway, let me erase some of this. Okay, and also looking at the map, the airport is right here. This is one of them, Dallas Love Field. The other airport is this big gray blob. And so to get from Frisco to Dallas-Fort Worth International, you're gonna take this 121 all the way down. It's going to From South Frisco, I can get there in 20 minutes. From North Frisco, it's probably closer to 30 minutes. And the PGA and everything that I talk about with Fields West and all that's way up here. So if you're moving to the new developments, it does take a little bit longer because you're further north. You're almost to Prosper in far north Frisco. Now, if we're talking about Fort Worth, let me zoom out. So moving from Frisco all the way to Fort Worth, you're going to do this, and it's going to take you a good hour, if not hour and 10. It just takes a long time to get there. If traffic, they did build some toll roads, and that does help. But every time I have to go to Fort Worth, it's at least an hour drive from Frisco. And then if you're going from Dallas to Fort Worth, I would say it's a good 30 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic as well. Okay, so zooming back in a little, with Frisco being right here in the red boundaries, I'm just going to point out this is Plano. It's south of Frisco. Allen's right here. It's right north of Plano. And then you've got McKinney north of that. All right. Prosper's up here. Remember, Prosper is in between Frisco and Salina. And Salina's huge. Okay. Prosper's little bitty. It's like this little square here. Or actually, that's a rectangle. I tell everybody that Prosper is in the middle. It's the sandwich in the middle of Salina and Frisco, because Salina and Frisco are way bigger cities land mass wise than Prosper. In fact, Salina is bigger than Frisco. And remember, I tell everyone that Salina is where Frisco was probably 15 to 20 years ago. So getting into Salina now, you're getting a much better price point. And if you're willing to sit and wait for that equity, 10-ish years, you're going to have massive equity. In fact, there are people that moved to Frisco 15, 20 years ago, and they're selling their houses and kind of cashing out on the equity they've gotten, which has been really, really good for them. And then they're moving to Salina to do it all over again. So it's a really great secondary way to build your financial portfolio, is buying in the right places at the right time. Okay, and then we have Little Elm. I don't talk a lot about Little Elm, but it borders Frisco. And then the Colony is right south of Frisco. And it's not a new city, but a city that's kind of gaining momentum is Aubrey. You can get some really great new builds out there. Pilot Point is also gaining some notoriety, and they're building in this gap between Pilot Point and Salina. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the area lakes, because it's a lot of fun to do lake activities living here. So obviously the main one is Lake Louisville. It's where there's a ton of houses, there's beaches, there's party coves. It's just a great lake. It's probably the most visited lake, and you're going to hear a lot about it just because it's really easy access to get there. And then right here is Lake Grapevine. It's much smaller, and there's not a ton of houses that are lakefront. It's a higher socioeconomic area, and the home prices, if you do happen to get a lakefront property on Lake Grapevine, the pricing is going to be significantly higher, just because there's not that many of them. So of course, demand, the low inventory always increases the price. Then you've got Lake Lavon right here, really great for fishing. They have bass tournaments there. It's a really fun, really big lake. And then you've also got Lake Ray Hubbard right down here. This is going to be Rockwall, Heath, Rowlett. It's one of my favorite areas of town. It's just, to get there from Frisco, you're looking at 45 minutes on the least amount of time. But it's a beautiful area. So if you want a smaller town feel, then Rockwall and Rowlett and Heath could be a really great choice for you. There is a bridge here, there's a bridge here, and there's a bridge here, and they're nightmares right now. And they're trying to expand them, but if you have to drive into Dallas, that bridge can become a real nightmare real fast if you live in Rockwall. So kind of think that through, and if that is something that you want to do, then talk to me about it, because we can kind of work through the scenarios there. Okay, now let's zoom directly into Frisco and kind of talk some numbers, because I know a lot of you that are watching care about equity, you care about the investment, you're high income professionals, family planning, major relocations, and you have come here to kind of learn more about Frisco. So as of 2025, the most recent update on population sits about 240,000. And we're still growing. So it's not a small city. We are a true mid-sized city, not any tiny suburbs around here as far as Frisco goes. Now, on the housing side, the median sales price in Frisco is going to hover around that 700,000 mark. And it has gone up in the last couple of years just because Frisco has become so popular and it has so much to offer. Now, I know that a lot of people come to me and they say, how can we get into Frisco at a lower price point, which makes all kinds of sense. Guys, you can still get into Frisco in the 400s. And if you really wanted to get into Frisco, you could probably do it in the high 300s. But we even have new construction starting at 500. And I wanted to tell you guys, if you're wanting new construction at that $500,000 mark, message me, because the builders have given me extra incentive that they haven't given anyone else. So if you want more money off than everyone else is receiving, you need to get with me, because I do so much business in Frisco that I get incentives that others don't. So definitely reach out. And obviously Frisco has won, lots of awards lately. First of all, in 2018, they were rated the #1 best place to live in America by Money Magazine. Frequently ranked among the safest cities in the US, Forbes magazine just rated it the 2nd safest city in the entire United States. Also recently highlighted as one of the most popular, high growth, high income suburbs in the country, with median home values for households well above the national average. This combination, the high income, strong schools, low crime, plus the PGA, Universal, and Fields development, is really what keeps Frisco on the top of the relocation list. So because things do seem expensive for people that are living here, but if you're moving from the coasts or from the north, our pricing is really actually pretty good compared to what they're having to pay. Texas has it pretty good. And when I say that, there are options for all types of buyers. It may not be in Frisco, but we have new builds that are in the high 200s. We can always find you a house. If you feel like you can't fit into those higher price points, don't worry. There's housing that fits everyone. So if you worry about that, reach out to us, because we can help find you exactly what you're looking for in really great areas. You just need somebody to help you do it. Okay, I've zoomed in on Frisco. To really understand Frisco, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the roads, because there are traffic areas and then there's non-traffic areas, and there are intersections I avoid at all costs. So we're going to go over that. Okay, this road right here is called Preston Road, and it really has been a main road for us since Frisco's inception, because Preston goes all the way north and it goes all the way south. You can actually take Preston all the way to Dallas, all the way to downtown Dallas. Now it's going to take you a year and a day because it's got 1 billion lights, but at least you know that if you can find Preston, you can go where you need to go. And so if you get lost, just look for Preston. It's also called 289 because, of course, we have 2 names for every street. But this is where a lot of restaurants and retail and shopping is all going to be on Preston Road. And it sits on the east side of the tollway. So this is the tollway, and it really kind of splits Frisco in half. And what's crazy is this side is Collin County, and this side is predominantly Denton County. And the tollway is really what splits it. It's not perfect. I mean, there's some that bleeds over in different areas, but it really is kind of funny how the tollway splits that. All right, let's go the east and west roads. So here you've got El Dorado. Here you've got Main Street. And then up here you have Panther Creek Parkway, which actually this whole side just opened. It's never been a usable road. It's always been farmland, and they just finished it. And I drove down it the other day, and it was wonderful because I live over here and I always had to go down and over or go up and over. And so it's just been really fun to be able to go straight through. And then of course we have 380 up here, and 380 really kind of draws the line on Frisco's north border, and above that is Prosper. So you guys hear me talk about Windsong Ranch. Do you see how it sits right on the border of Frisco and Prosper? In fact, Windsong is going to definitely profit from the Fields development. The Fields development is right here. I'm going to make little bitty drawings. And the majority of it is going to be in this little rectangle here. I'm going to fill it in. So Universal Kids is right here, okay? And let me change colors. So this is Universal Kids. This is the PGA, all the green. And then the Preserve sits here because it's on the golf course. And then of course you've got Brookside North and Brookside South. And there it's kind of split down the middle. The north is here and the south is here. And the south is where I live. Newman Village is also one of my favorites. It is a gated community. Guys, it's stunning, and it's really been kind of the crown jewel of Frisco, but I think the Preserve is obviously going to take over that crown jewel. But Newman Village is so great because it's already built out and the trees are beautiful and they're grown. The one thing about new construction is all the trees are small, so you have to kind of wait for that to grow and bloom and fill out the community. And Newman Village is already there. And so are there some new builds in there? Yes, but they're going to be on the way more expensive side. The houses that are being built in Newman Village right now are probably 3, 4, 5, 6 million. But you can get into Newman Village in the low millions. It's just harder. And so you're getting an elite subdivision that has such community involvement, and it's just stunning. It's one of the most aesthetically appealing subdivisions that I've seen in a really long time. Okay, when I talk about West Frisco and East Frisco, it's the Dallas North Tollway that is determining that. So this is West Frisco and this is East Frisco. So just know that as I'm using my terms, the west and the east side. And then obviously this is the north part and the southern part. We also have Stonebriar Mall, which is down here. It borders 121 and the Dallas North Tollway where they come together. And there's a lot of great restaurants. The mall right here, there's some fun areas that there's a big pond there that you can go sit and eat on a patio with water. I don't know, I just love that area. And then if you keep going south here, you're going to get to Legacy West, which I talk a lot about. That, remember, I don't know if you remember because you might not have watched any of my videos yet, but Fields West, this right here, is the same as Legacy West. It's just going to be 2.5 times bigger. Same architect, so it's going to be phenomenal. But things around here are going to be the IKEA. The Colony is right here, close to it. And this way is Grandscape. And Grandscape has Scheels. It's got Nebraska Furniture Mart, which is huge. It's got a ton of restaurants. It's got Andretti's, which is an indoor race car. It's got indoor putt-putt. It's got a huge Ferris wheel. It is a fun place to go for your family and just enjoy eating and walking around and having fun. They do live music, all kinds of things. So remember Grandscape. And then of course you've got the Star right around this area. So that's going to be the Dallas Cowboys headquarters with their practice field, which is called the Ford Center. You've got hotels, bars, restaurants, all kinds of office space, but it's all walkable and a lot of fun if you want to go down there, especially at Christmas. They have the tree lit up, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. They have a program every weekend throughout Christmas where they do dancing and lighting of the tree and all the things. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's move up to Frisco downtown, okay? So this is the downtown area. And it's where you're going to have Frisco Square. The historic downtown is. So you have a bunch of historic homes. Most of them are going to be north of Main Street. And there's a lot of construction on Main Street right now because they're doing a $70 million renovation down there. to just bring it up to par because it's been a long time since it's been renovated. But you're gonna have City Hall down there. You're gonna have the public library. There's a lot of traditional dining and coffee and charm and twinkle lights and little shops. There's 811 Wine Bar. There's Dee Dee's, which is one of my favorite restaurants. There's just a lot of stuff down there to do if you want kind of that back in time feel. But there's definitely, oh, and Roller Town Beer Works is there. They just opened up and it's a huge hit. We have the Soccer Hall of Fame down there. So there is a lot to do if downtown is somewhere you want to go. Now, I will say north of Main, these home prices are going to be a little bit higher. The ones down here are definitely more reasonable. So they're older. I have a couple of houses in downtown, and one of them was built in 1985 and one of them was built in 1976. And so they've been super sturdy houses for me. And one's an Airbnb and one's a rental. But I love that area. You can get in for, high 300s all the way up to, 600,000 and 700,000 in that southern, right south of Main. Still walkable to all the fun things that happen on Main Street. So just know that if you're not opposed to an older home, I can definitely help you find something that would really be in a economical area, but still has that upward momentum of getting equity. Now we also have Phillips Creek Ranch. This is a really great community because it's obviously in West Frisco. It's about a 950 acre master plan community. They're newer homes, not brand new, but they are newer homes. And they tend to have a little bit more modern flair to them just because they are newer. It's a newer subdivision. They've got lakes, they've got hike and bike trails, really great amenities for Phillips Creek Ranch. And you're looking at really around $1 million and up. There might be something that comes in, in the high 800s, 900s, but I would say you're looking at that $1 million mark or above for Phillips Creek Ranch. Another neighborhood that happens to be one of my favorites is called The Trails, and it's right over here. So this is Teal Parkway. I know that doesn't really matter to you guys because it's a smaller street. In fact, I'm going to take some of this off. 1 second. Okay, just wanted to clean up my screen a little bit. This is The Trails. It's one of my favorite neighborhoods, and I will say that there are lots of different price points in The Trails. It is a massive subdivision, and it has parts in it. It's like subdivisions within subdivisions. So you can get something in the 500s in The Trails all the way up to over $1 million, depending on what section you're in. It's got 4 community pools. They're always doing activities. It's walkable to the elementary school, the middle school, and a quick short drive to the high school. And it feeds into Wakeland High School, which happens to be one of my favorite high schools. And Wakeland High School is right here. So Wakeland High School is right about here, but it's just a great high school. Okay, I had to take a small break, but I'm back. And I wanted to continue to talk about The Trails because it is one of my favorite subdivisions. And I feel like it has room for a lot of different types of, I feel like it has the ability for a lot of different types of people to live in The Trails. And that's what's beautiful about the community is you can get a home in the 400s all the way up to over $1 million. And it's a really large subdivision. And so if a pre-owned home is okay with you and you don't mind maybe doing some updates along the way, and I will tell you that any updates done in The Trails, if a house that is updated comes on for sale, it goes like that because it is an older neighborhood. So it's harder to find the homes that have been updated, so they're more valuable. So if you buy one and you update it along the way, just know that you will definitely get your money back. And so you can get some really great buys in there. So if The Trails is something that you guys want to look into to get into Frisco and into a really great feeder school, then let me know because I can help you do that. Okay, now let's go up to Hollyhock, which is right up here. And Hollyhock's wonderful because I feel like it's also going to get the equity that Fields West is going to bring this whole area. And so it's a great place to look. The homes are not brand new, but it is a newer subdivision. And so you're going to be able to get more modern homes and traditional homes in this neighborhood, so you have more to choose from. It is north of the Fields development, and it is south of 380. Remember, this is 380 right here. And it's roughly about 400 acres, really great master planned community. They have amenity center, they have a really cool pool, they have walking trails. But one of the best things about Hollyhock is all of their community events. It's very similar to the Fields, where they'll have like an Easter egg hunt where you go all over the subdivision and then everybody meets in a central location and they grill and watch an outdoor movie together. Like, it's very community driven. So if that's something you're looking for and you want to be by the PGA, but maybe you don't want to pay PGA pricing, because Hollyhock is a little bit better priced than living in Brookside South or Brookside North. You can definitely find homes in Hollyhock for 600s, 700s on up. So there is, and those are big houses. So just know that that's a really great place to look if you're okay with a pre-owned home. Okay, I've zoomed in to kind of show you the Fields, and it's not going to be exact, my map, but I'm going to kind of outline the Fields. So it goes here, and then up here, and then it comes down, and then, like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but it kind of gives you a perspective of what the Fields looks like. And I'm going to point some things out. So this is Brookside South. This is Brookside North. Actually, Brookside South comes this whole thing. And then over here is the Universal Kids Studio. This is Fields West. And then this is the golf course and the preserve, okay? So up here is going to be Fields North. And see how close it is to Windsong Ranch right here? So if you're wanting to live in Windsong, everybody, I've said it a million times that Windsong's one of my most favorite communities. It's really close to the PGA. So you're gonna have Fields West, you're gonna have all the things that I've highlighted, Firefly Park. You're going to have a ton of stuff up there that will be family oriented and community driven as well. Right here is East Village. East Village is a great new build community that you can get into at the $500,000 mark. And that will probably be the last time you're going to be able to get into Frisco at the $500,000 mark when it comes to new construction. And so you are going to be close to Universal. I'll put a little U there for that. But it's still walking distance to Fields West. And they're actually, let me change my color. They're actually going to put a tunnel underneath the Dallas North Tollway for people to walk from East Village underneath the highway over to Fields West, so you don't ever have to cross a major intersection. And they've already put that on the development map and plan to do that. I don't know when it's going to be completed, but just know that if you're buying in East Village, that you'll be able to walk to to Fields West. I will tell you, if you want to buy in East Village, contact me, because I have a special deal with the builder that will give you more money off than really anyone else. And so it's worth talking to me before you just go in and sign, because I can get you more money off. So trust me on that. Anyway, this is, let me go back to my red. Over here is the University of North Texas, and there's going to be a whole medical school here, and there's housing as well. So, and there's going to be a teaching hospital up here. I don't know the exact location, but it'll be a really cool experience for us to have a teaching hospital and be able to bring in really high level teachers and surgeons and educators in the whole medical field. But just to recap, the Fields development is 2,500 acres plus, anchored by the PGA of America, the Omni Resort, which is, I mean, you can see it in the pink right here. So, and this Omni is their #1 performer in their entire portfolio. If that tells you anything, it's beautiful. We've got the Universal Kids Resort, Fields West. We're going to have multiple luxury residential houses. There's going to be, once Fields West is built, there's going to be apartments and lofts that you can actually live in Fields West. So if you want to be upstairs from all the action and just walk down and get a coffee or go shopping or meet, friends to eat, and then just go right back upstairs to where you live, all of that's going to be apartments and lofts. It's definitely the most ambitious master plan development in all of North Texas in a really long time. So and then to go back over who's building currently in the Fields, you've got Britton in Brookside South. You've got Shattuck there on. Britton is 50s and 60s foot lots. They don't have very many left. You've got Shattuck on 40s and 50s. You've got Huntington, which is the luxury division of Highland Homes. And then you've got Toll Brothers. We also have Olivia Clark, which does the townhomes, and then we have Darling Homes as well, and those are on 35-foot lots, so they're kind of slender homes. And then in Brookside North, we have J.R. Landon Custom Homes, and so that whole part, Brookside North, it's just beginning, so there's a lot of opportunity over there. Brookside South is winding down because they've been building here for 2 years now. I would say the lowest you could get into Brookside South would be in the 700s with Olivia Clark, if she has any left. And then you would go all the way up to the highest, which would be, 2.5, 3 million with Landon in Brookside North. And then of course the Preserve is going to be gated. It's going to be exclusive. It's going to be probably one of the highest end luxury neighborhoods in all of Texas. And you're looking at 3 million all the way up to probably 40 million. So talk about exclusive and luxury. The things that are going to happen inside the Preserve are pretty amazing. So if that is something that you desire, get with me because I can also introduce you and give you all the information on the builders. Okay, so I zoomed back out because I want you guys to look really closely at where the cities that I highlight a lot are in reference to each other, okay? And the reason that that is even significant and what people that live out of town may miss is that Frisco's really a hub. And so you can see that Prosper's directly north, and then Salina's even higher than that. Prosper's value and the pricing has gone up. So I would say the median home price is going to be somewhere in the 800s, maybe close to 800. Then you go up to Salina and you've got even better pricing out there. And again, it's going to take time for that equity to build up. But Frisco just opened their school districts. So there's open enrollment now that if you live in Prosper, Salina, or even McKinney and want your kids to go to Frisco ISD, you can submit and apply for that, which is crazy. It's only been that way, I think, for the last year. And so just know that Frisco now has open enrollment. Always check due to the filming of this video and when you're potentially watching this video to see whether open enrollment is still active, but right now it is. And so you may work in Frisco, you may have kids activities in Frisco, but you may live over the border in McKinney. Maybe you need something that's a little more economical. Maybe you want more house for your money. Salina and McKinney are going to be those options. Frisco and Prosper tend to be a little bit more on the expensive side. And of course, the closer you get to Fields West and the Fields development, the more expensive things get, price per square foot. And so I just wanted you guys to see a picture of where everything is in reference to Frisco. All right, let's get out of the map and for just a minute and let me kind of tell you things that I hear from people that have lived here for 6 months or longer. And a couple of things that they've said is it feels new and clean and well planned, but there are still parts of town that are older and historical and have the big trees and the nostalgia of a little bit of an older city. Another thing that I've heard is that there's always something happening, always something you can plug into, whether it's sports, whether it's high school football because of Friday Night Lights and the nostalgia of that, concerts, family events, all kinds of things that you can plug you and your family into just to have fun things to do. You can also work in, downtown Dallas, Plano, the mid-cities, and still come back to Frisco and have walking trails and amenity centers and community involvement and schools built into your master planned community where you live small, even though you're in a big city. And then, of course, when you zoom the map out, you can see that you're still very close to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, even close to Love Field. It's only 45 minutes to Love Field, but you have all of these major epicenters that you're not super far from, and you realize that once you get here. Now, I realize on paper, Frisco shows up as a high luxury, kind of high-end place to live, but trust me that you can still get into Frisco at least a little bit on the more conservative side in the 400s. You just have to be willing to buy an older home. Okay, so you stayed with me through the full map tour. Here's the part you've been waiting for. If I were to relocate to Frisco right now, here's exactly how I'd think about where to buy. And I'm gonna frame it in 3 buckets, okay? So bucket 1 is that long-term, future-proof play. It's high upside, but also higher cost. And that's gonna be the Fields Corridor. I scream it from the mountaintops, okay? You've got custom, semi-custom sections like the Preserve and Brookside North and South. You've got builders like Toll, Britton, Shattuck, Huntington, and J.R. Landon, all very active here, plus your custom in the Preserve builders. Price expectations for the semi-custom field product, realistically, you need to think about the 900s to million. That $1 million is an entry point up through 1.5 to 2.5, depending on your lot and your upgrades. For custom lots and finished homes in the Preserve, total package price is going to be anywhere from $3 million all the way up to $40 million, depending on builder and location. This is for you if you're thinking in that 5 to 10 year horizon and you want kind of that front row seat to everything new in Frisco. This is the play. Bucket 2 is kind of lifestyle, amenities, and school. It's more balanced, higher demand. Phillips Creek Ranch, West Frisco, it's got resort style amenities, strong schools, close to the lake and to major roads. Expect high 700s to well over 1.3, 1.5, with a lot of the core products being inside the 900 to 1.5. Then you've got the trails of Frisco. It's established, you've got trees, you've got great community feel, 4 different pools. Often 500s to 900s, you do have a few $1 million plus depending on size and upgrades. You also have Newman Village. It's gated, it's architecturally beautiful, custom build heavy, realistically plan on $1 million plus as the practical entry, but the heart of the market is roughly 1.3 to 2.5 million, and the custom homes are gonna be even more than that. But it's an amazing place to live. And then you've got Hollyhock, that's North Frisco, PGA adjacent, really strong amenities. Many resales now sit in the high 600s, low 700s, all the way to 900 plus, with obviously some larger homes pushing that $1 million mark. These are for you if you want amenities and that daily lifestyle, plus strong long-term demand and resale. Now, bucket 3 is value, flexibility, and the growth orbit. So North Frisco edges near the Prosper and Salina line, places where you can still tap into Frisco amenities, but sometimes catch slightly different pricing or tax combos, or go just across the city border into Prosper and Salina, where a lot of new communities are building out in the 500s to 900s with that same luxury feel. In this bucket, you're sacrificing being dead center in Frisco for more space and sometimes better lot sizes, and still very strong upside because you're tied into that same growth engine. But make sure you watch out for MUDs and PID taxes. They're really prevalent in Salina, and I can help you with that as well. Of course, none of this is one size fits all. The right move for you depends on your budget, your timeline, your job location, your school preferences, and what lifestyle you're actually building. If you want someone who lives in these maps every day and can help you match your real life to these neighborhoods, builders, all the luxury, all the amenities, reach out. This is what I do all day, every day in Frisco and North Dallas. And if you found this helpful, let me know in the comments which neighborhood or city that you want a deeper dive into, and we can do an on-the-ground driving tour of that one next. See you in the next video.